Hello, hello. Welcome to the live today, the live storytelling with Patreon. So great to be here. It's been a busy week because I am in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and right now it is Carnival, which is a big festival that runs every day with music and dancing and parties and um, these mu- mu- uh, these musical. I call it the Brazilian musical parades, basically, like all over the city. So it's a beautiful, beautiful time of year here. I've been having a great time of my life. I should be posting a next video on my YouTube all about Carnival in Brazil. So today we're here to talk about an MFF. I have had lots of stories about MFMs and couples and this type of thing, but today was the MFF, which is a little bit, yeah, this is part of my costume from my carnival. Don't want to take it off. There's still a few more days, so I want to keep the glitter going. Oh my God, I can see how so much glitter on my neck. It doesn't come off in a shower. Just doesn't come off. Um, okay, so MFF. Now, this is a much more difficult combination of a threesome to create. If you're a couple, or even if you're a guy, it's much easier to get a couple of guys together and one woman, or you as a couple to get one guy to come in. Much easier, in my experience. I'd love to know if any of you have any different experience around that, but most people I've talked to find that MFM is much easier. It doesn't mean that you should not attempt an MFF, an MFF, male, female, because it is still possible. You just have to go into it a little bit differently, I feel, with a much more open heart and be really open to different possibilities. Okay. And I'll talk about what I mean by that as we go through this. But we wanted to have an MFF. But it took us a long time to find that woman. We put ads in, we got some response, but it wasn't really the right connection for us. Um, we sort of So that's like the online method, right? Putting in ads, looking online in different apps to see if there's somebody that you can connect with, and we just weren't finding anybody. It just wasn't connecting with the person that was going to work for us. The other is the organic method, and this is what I think is the best situation for an MFF. So that's where you decide as a couple that you're just going to open up your sphere of influence to magnetically attract somebody, a woman, into your coupledom. Magnetically attract. So that means the two of you decided, yes, let's go for it. Okay. We want to do this MFF. You talk about what that's going to be like. We talked about the boundaries of it, about that. We wanted to be always in communication with each other. We wanted it to be a free flowing experience. We wanted to make sure that each of us took care of each other. We also had a safe word in case one of us wanted to stop and just end the situation or stand back from it to have a little conversation because we were feeling uncomfortable. So we kind of set things up as we went along. It's a journey. It's all a journey. So remember that the journey has to be fun too. So we had those kinds of things in place. And then we thought, well, who's out there in our sphere of influence, our sphere of friendships, and who might be possible? And we thought about a couple of people as possibilities, but when it came down to it, no, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't going to quite work out. Um, we were going to a lot of events at that time, so our eyes were always open for possibilities. And there were a couple of situations where it might have happened, but she wasn't really quite there, and maybe I wasn't quite into her, or he wasn't quite into her. Um, he was pretty much ready to bring almost anybody, but it still had to be this level of he had to feel attracted. And I do remember there was one woman that I was very attracted to and thought, well, this would be great. And he said, no, 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 like I'm not attracted to her at all. So, okay, so we have to find someone that both of us are attracted to. Even if I'm not bisexual, I have to have some kind of feeling of attraction, right? It could be just even emotional. So finally, one thing we were doing is we at the time were doing workshops with people at our home. People would come over and we would talk about things to do with the law of attraction. Um, if anybody knows anything about Abraham Hicks or Seth, we were really big into that kind of conversation about creating your own reality, really believing that everything was inside of you and you have to shift and change what's going on inside of you in order to create the kind of reality you want. We had these conversations and people would come over and we'd have these great conversations and my husband would lead. He had a lot of information to talk about and people would ask questions and then people would share. And so one night there was this woman who came. Um, she had come one night before and then she came another time. And we both noticed her right away. She was very beautiful, woman from South America, from can't remember exactly which country, but North, I think Colombia. Um, and we thought, wow, she's really, really beautiful. She's really intelligent. She's really interesting. And I noticed her, he noticed her. Um, we didn't talk about that we were both attracted to her at first, but we were like open to possibilities. And then I mentioned, well, what about her? And he said, oh my goodness, I have been thinking about the same thing. Ba-boom. The connection is made with us. Okay, we've decided this is possible, this woman. Now, does she want to do it? That's the next step. So I decided to be the one to send an email to her and find out, like, if she would be interested. And the way I put it was, we really like you. We thought you were super interesting. We're really happy you came to our to the master classes. And we're wondering because, if you might be interested in getting a little bit more intimate with us. And she knew our story because we were very openly talking about our story, about how we were creating our relationship and our the opening of the relationship and what was happening in our life. So she understood that. So it wasn't like anything was new to her. So um, I thought this is not going to be such a surprise. And if she said, no, no, it's not for me, then fine. But to our surprise, she said, "Yes, I actually would be very interested." So it all lined up. It all lined up. Um, and it was very exciting because it was finally somebody that both of us liked, and we were going to have an experience with her. Now, we did find out that she had never done this before, her very first time. She had thought about it for a long time. We had, like, sort of email correspondence asking some questions. My husband asked her some things about what he was interested in and just to make her feel comfortable. And I talked to her. And we also decided, let's get together and just have a drink and like talk more in detail about the things that we like, that we don't like, that we've done, and really get into some understanding of each other. So that date was set up. It was at a really lovely bar downtown, not too far from her place actually, but it was like a no play date in the sense that there was no expectation. So we met her at this beautiful place, and right away we all liked each other so much. We had such good conversation. We were feeling the flow. We were really liking her. We were liking the feeling of being with her. Very smart women, very open and interested in exploration. And yeah, she had not had an experience before, but she was very curious. And we also mentioned, put honesty on the table. We'd never been with a woman before like this in this situation, one woman there. It had been a couple before, but not just a woman. And she was very excited by that, but she also thought, "Oh, these people are so experienced and professional." And I could see she was a little bit nervous. So I said, "We're just gonna go really slow. There's no rushing into anything at all. There never should be any rushing into anything. Take your time." It might, we had not planned to do anything that night, but At one point, I just felt like, okay, we are here to connect with this woman intimately, sexually. Let's go. Let's do it. We all feel like we're on the same page. Are you ready? Are you in? I'm in. We're all in. We're in agreement that we're in. So, shall we go? Can we go do it now? And she said, yes, let's do that. We can go to my place. I don't live too far away. So we said, okay. So off we went over to her little apartment. And we arrived there. It's a cute little space. We go in. We're all a bit nervous because when you start any kind of threesome, you don't really know how to get started. You don't know who's going to start. Um, that's always a little bit nerve-wracking, but you have to kind of drop in to your gentleness and your the slow juiciness of sexuality and see what happens. And you know what you want, and so we're all kind of talking and just slowly touching, and then um my husband and I were kissing, and then we brought her in. We brought her in because she was ready. And it all started like that. So we brought in her, and then we're all just kissing and kissing, and then we started touching each other, and we're really getting excited quickly. The foreplay had already been a couple of hours of chit chatty, flirtatious connection, and now here we were. The physical had arrived, and we were touching each other and kissing each other and just feeling so juicy together with dim lights and nice music playing in the background. And so the whole scene was set and was ready for us all. And we had a little glass of wine as well. And we started taking off each other's clothes, right? Step by step, piece by piece. This is off, top is off, bra is off, pants are off. And we're all naked on this big bed that she had and squirming around together on the bed, just really getting to know each other's bodies and feeling each other's bodies and kissing all of the different body parts. Hers, she's kissing ours, his, they're together. We're all in a nice threesome kind of combination. A nice tandem, a nice juiciness, a nice seductive connection between the three of us. And and then it sort of we're all kind of in an equal scenario in this touchy-feely time. And then he steps up into a little bit more of a dominant situation. This is when you create this polarity between the masculine and the feminine. He wanted to take control, to like start directing. Someone has to start to direct at some point. I mean, it can keep going in this way, and yes, but then it feels like a bit more powerful when someone decides, okay, oh, it's just starting here, the physical sexy part. So he takes over in the sense of the dominant scenario, and we're both submissive women. I am, she is just like, tell me what to do. She has no idea. Um, So he gets us organized in a way that both of us are lying beside each other, and comes right over top of us with his cock, and we have, and it's in both of our faces. A very hot position, and both of us just enjoy it back and forth as he is over top of us. And I could see him looking down, and he is just in heaven. And we are kissing his cock, we are kissing each other, we are he's feeling our bodies, he has us there pinned down between his legs, the two of us, and really enjoying every second of it. And so this really like brought us together in this threesome. This particular position, I remember it so clearly because it took us into the fire of the passion. And so then next thing, he's penetrating me, and she is licking him from behind. And we get into these different beautiful threesome combinations, which are so just when you have another body close to you, it's the heat of it is so beautiful, but also just the possibilities suddenly become like 500% more options. There's more body parts, there's more touching, there's more stealing. And this little Latin lady, no, she wasn't little, she was same height as me, beautiful, who first time experience ever was hot. I mean, on fire. She was a big surprise to both of us. She was ready to just do whatever. She liked penetration. She liked licking any body part. She liked anal. We didn't do anal specifically, but she liked licking anuses. Um, she just had a very free disposition and nothing, no hangups whatsoever, just open to whatever was the movement of the moment. So she fit in so beautifully to the two of us who came from already a lot of experience. Um, now throughout the process, we're all making a lot of noise. It's really important to make lots of sound when you're having sex. This sound comes from deep places within your body, and it's very central to hear a man's deep groans, and very exciting to hear women as well making noise when they're making sounds when they're getting to deeper levels of pleasure. So she was fantastic at this too. And my partner, I had practiced doing this, um, I had come from a place with not making a lot of sound, but I worked on it, like breathing deeper and letting the true feelings come through. So that was very central as well. So we have the play, the touch, the feel, we have the dominant moving us into different positions, trying different things, and we have the sound flowing through. So it was a very, very sexy, very exciting evening. There Now, before we started, my husband and I had come up with a word, three words actually, which were um, safe words. And I think those are really important to have even when you're with just you and your partner and you're in kind of deeper play, BDSM, kinky kind of stuff, or if you're with a third and you want to just be able to have a word that's really clear and understood, that means you know what it means together. So green is go, this is good, if you need to use that. And then yellow was kind of just slow down. I need to take a little bit slower here. It's going a bit too fast. And red would be absolutely stop right now. So at one point, he and her begin to kiss, and they are kissing, and they're kissing, and they're kissing, and they go on and on and on with this kissing. And I'm at first, okay, it's fine, and I'm touching him and touching her, and their genitals are free, so I'm playing with them, and um, but they're really into this kissing. They're locked in, and it goes on for a long time, and I'm starting to feel a little strange, a little left out, a little insecure. So I let it go beyond a little bit more, and then I say, yellow, yellow. He doesn't hear me because they are locked in at a different dimension, literally. I say, I sneak up to him behind him and say, yellow, and then he stops, and they, unlock, and he realizes that you know, he didn't really know what was wrong, but he stopped and brought me in at that point. So the one thing that's tricky with an MFF to a male, female, female, as opposed to an MFM, male, female, male, is that if you're in an MFF, there's two women who need a lot of attention. Women need a lot of attention to keep their energy flowing, to keep the orgasmic sensations flowing. When you're in an MFM, there's two men and a woman. So two men are really helping that woman keep going. And I found like an MFM can be way more tiring, way more exciting in ways because you are constantly being pleasured, doubly pleasured by two men. Whereas the MFF, he has to really work hard to take care of both of you. Now, luckily, he had very good ejaculation control, was able to last for a very, very long time, and he had lots of experience. So he was able to satisfy both of us. But that first MFM, I realized, wow, that is a big difference from an MFF, an MF, an MFM, where I get all the attention, which I like. And I'm not bisexual, and more attention, the better for me. So, although I loved her energy, I loved the connection, I loved the dynamic, and she definitely was bisexual. So I did get attention from her, but I'm not sexually into women that way. I like women. I like women around. I like kissing women, holding women, but very more, much, much, much more sexually attracted to men. So that was a little bit of an interesting learning for me. Not good, not bad, just interesting. And after the three of us were done, we had been he had penetrated me, penetrated her. We had penetrated each other in various places. There was no anal at this point. Um, there was just a lot of other penetration by him, using a condom with her and not with me. But yeah, and then it went on for a couple of hours, and us two women were quite satisfied. I believe quite satisfied. And then he did a final ejaculation in me. So and then we all just flopped on the bed, exhausted, and had a nice little talk about how great it was, how amazing we felt, how it was. Certainly, we went through how, oh, this was your first time. You were amazing. You were so relaxed. We have never had anybody like that before. We were quite surprised. And as we're talking, we all get excited again. So it starts up again, and we all start kissing again and touching again. And there was more focus on her for sure. It being the first MFF, and he was very, very excited by her, and so was I. I mean, I'd never been with such a hot, Latin, sexy woman before. So that was exciting. So we kind of started up again, and the whole thing built up again, and off we went on a sexual journey together, the three of us, for the second time. And once we were finally done, I think probably 3 hours had passed, and we were all pretty exhausted and extremely happy. So we said goodbye, and then my partner, my husband, and I had a nice conversation about it, which I think is really important right away to talk about. Well, how did it was it for you? How did you feel? What did you like? What would you like more of? Try not to be negative, like um, but I did mention I was insecure at times, and he said I just wanted to make sure she was really happy and comfortable, and I really got excited by her, and she really turned me on. I said, I know, I know, um, uh, and that's a little bit hard. It was a little bit hard, the fact that with a man, I know I can give. I This is my thinking then, that I can give something very different than what a man could give. But with a woman, we're kind of similar in a way. And I felt like, oh, I don't want to be in competition with her. And I don't want to feel insecure or that I can't offer you, as much or as good in intense, erotic, sensual connection. But I realized later that no matter whether it's a man or a woman, you are a special individual and you can never have what you have with that one individual. Another person does everything totally different. She was really totally different than me in looks and in style. So it was like a double, an MFM is two completely different energies offering different kinds of sensual touch and connection and sexual fun and play. So you get just such a full rounded amount of sensuality in the scene. So okay, so I'm just gonna finish there. I'm gonna do this live like this from now on this way with being able to see this mic because somehow it turns off at times. And now I think I finally got it. It's a little bit different set because it's not live, but please let me know that you've heard everything and that you have, and let me know some comments about any questions that you have, or if you want to share any experiences, please do in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you in the next story in April. Much love, baby.